Well, hello. Rosetta Rosalind Rose here. See, I must admit, as a long-time massive yaoi fan, Yuri has always rubbed me the wrong way because it just keeps showing up in the random stuff I read/watch. So, in retaliation, I'm going to slander Yuri itself by very seriously ranking a lot of the YuriBait I know. So, this is how the tiers are going to work. At the bottom, we have low tier YuriBait. This is the tier for when there is either the bare minimum of Yuri to be considered calling it YuriBait, or there's so much unopposed Yuri that only technicality causes it to be YuriBait. One above that is token YuriBait, for when the Yuri is there to fulfill a checkbox, to own the Yuri fans, because Yuri is a joke and is the only extent it will ever be used for. Next, we have peak YuriBait. Now, this is the good stuff. We've reached critical mass rug pulling. Yuri slandering, an absolute insult to grace a Yuri fan's eyes, inducing depression upon the Yuri community. And lastly, at the very top, we have Hibiki Euphonium for the life scarring, PTSD inducing YuriBaits. They will and have for ruined generations of Yuri fans. It does not get more YuriBait than what's put up here. So, with all that out of the way, let's just get right to it. Well, we have a fun one to start with. This is Lycoris Recoil. This is a masterclass of offering you juicy looking Yuri, and before you know it, the only gay canon was the yaoi all along. Get scammed! But, more seriously, look, when you have girls care for each other this much, we'll start seeing things, and the Yuri community absolutely ate this anime up. We had so many memorable moments and memories because of this. It was an amazing time to be a Yuri fan. Especially since right afterwards, we got G-Witch, which we had many laughs about how this explicitly gay thing came after Lycoris. That said, it's not like Chisato and Takina are dating by the end, which means it's not good enough, making this an obligatory low tier YuriBait. The next is Birdie Wing. Well, this was a series that took many by surprise, as an over-the-top, absurdist golf show. It had crime, it had drama, and most importantly, it had lesbians. Eve and Aoi be doing so much gay Yuri fan service throughout season 1. The Yuri community agreed it was the lesbian golf show. And with a season 2, it was only gonna get better. We might even see a payoff of that kiss promise. So, naturally, the second season had absolutely zero Yuri fan service, making no mention of the previous season's gay promise kiss, and Eve/Aoi's rapport is deleted in favor of being strictly pro-golfers. Yeah, no, this did not bode well with the Yuri community at all. We completely dumpstered the second season for it. Such a monumental nosedive, in our opinion, earns Birdie Wing its place on peak YuriBait. Next, we have Love, Chuunibyou, and Other Delusions. The show itself is a romantic comedy between a guy and a girl, so we don't care about them whatsoever. What's actually important is the interactions between Hikikomori and Nebutani. They put in some good work for the Yuri count, bickering together, sleeping together, even kissing each other. But obviously, they outwardly say they don't like it, and the show would never actually confirm them getting together either. We're given so much meat, but remember, this is KyoAni. They have a fairly infamous reputation in the Yuri community for specifically Yuri baiting. Therefore, this is clearly token YuriBait. Oh, it's Madoka Magica. Well. A story about a girl with the power of time who uses it to go back into the past to change the course of history in order to save the girl she loves. Does that sound gay to you? Well, the voice actors think otherwise, and the director says it's love, just the kind friendship kind of love, based on the info from the wiki at least. Therefore, I guess it can only really be left to interpretation, making it some low tier YuriBait. Next up is Girls Band Cry. my favorite anime of 2024. You don't get more angsty anime than this. The relationship between Nina and Momoka is just so raw with how they argue, and Nina basically being Momoka's toxic fan just works in my book. The icing on the cake, Nina confesses her love to Momoka. It gets its pretty cut and clear case if you ignore the fan translation debacle that happened around that. That said, Lady Killer Rupa also be swimming in girls as well as the very wholesomeness with Tomo. Nonetheless, show never confirms if they're dating or anything, and that confession by Nina goes unacknowledged. So, at most, I could put this at low tier YuriBait. If it pulled like a Birdie season 2, maybe I could go higher, but until then, it hasn't disappointed just yet. Speaking of anime from 2024, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night came out on the same season as Girls Band Cry, and there was a funny rivalry going on between the two at the time, though the series kind of left Jellyfish fans fairly unsatisfied. As for the Yuri, Mahiru and Kano carried that department. There were moments outside of them, like with that bath scene, but stuff like their famous kiss on the cheek, or even the little motorcycle into mini beach date, it was nice. So naturally, the writers had to clarify it as all up to interpretation, as the show does not give any definitive statements by the end. So we're just gonna have to live with this also being low tier YuriBait. This is Cross-Ange. Okay, so my friend had me watch the entire series with him, and I came in there for the Yuri, and gosh, did I get some with Hilda, the crazy lesbian. No matter how scummy of a character she was, eventually she developed and grew on me. Plus, her with Ange felt so good since I was completely on board with it. So why did Ange get together with the boring, uninteresting loser Tusk? Delete him from this series. He contributes nothing and is undeveloped waste of air. When he blew up, I was cheering. Then he popped up again like it didn't happen. I was livid. And I shouldn't have expected anything else. My feeling can only describe this as peak YuriBait. Well, let's move to a more lighthearted one. Azumanga Daioh. Gotta love my comedy, slice of life, cute girls do cute things anime. Especially when they get to have the fun, quirky Kaorin who really likes Sakaki. And they make it plenty obvious she does. They even have the whole gushing for Sakaki with a rainbow behind her, for Pete's sake. Which is why, when her gag is played and it's coarse, she's relegated to the side and hardly seen again. Banished to the Yuri jail. Which is part of the course for being token YuriBait. Moving on, next we have The Executioner and Her Way of Life. Well. A story about a girl with the power of time who uses it to go back into the past to change the course of history in order to save the girl she loves? Wait, I thought I already read this part of the script. Oh well, I must be imagining it. I just put it next to, you know, this other non-descriptive anime right here, and low tier YuriBait. This one is Wandering Witch, The Journey of Elaina. So, one day, Elaina crosses path with a girl, Saya, who really takes a liking to her, even doing some illegal premarital hand-holding while they sleep in the same bed. Obviously though, they then go their separate ways, but whenever they do meet, Saya be constantly flirting with her, letting her gay feelings be known. Plus, all the gay stuff that happened during the Love Potion episode. It was a lot, okay? Which is why she must be shut down constantly, because Elaina is not gay. Or even straight. Honestly, I don't know. I've only seen the anime, but the novel readers seem to think she's like ace. So, cool. But that firmly makes it so all of the advances by Saya in the series is just gonna earn itself a token YuriBait. Oh gosh, it's Liz and the Blue Bird. Okay, so how best to tackle this? It's my second favorite anime film. First being, of course, The Case of Hannah and Alice. This film, however, just does a lot. It plays with ambiguity between Mizore and Nozomi a lot. it's extremely easy to see it as Yuri after Midori basically confesses to Nozomi that she is her everything. But the film makes it clear by the end that the extent of obsession is a dependency Midori has and must overcome. The Yuri community often loathes interpretation endings, but this is an exception for most of us. I don't think many of us actually dislike this, or the ending, despite it being KyoAni. So don't think too hard about it, but I'ma just put it in low tier YuriBait. Next up in the order is Princess Principal, an action spy thriller where close childhood friends Ange and Princess fight for a world where they can be together in peace. Their life choices entirely motivated by the love they share for each other. But the series director says that their relationship is up to interpretation. Yeah, no, what a load of bull. Like, I cannot unsee the picture drama where Ange dreams of running away with Princess in Casablanca to live their lives together, or the numerous official arts where they're being gay, holding hands, and just hugging Charlotte. Charlotte is hugging Ange, and them getting married. What part of this is up for interpretation? All of it apparently, which is why it's going straight to low tier YuriBait. Okay, so this one is Tamako Market. Oh boy. The Yuri in this one is painful, okay? So it's a slice of life comedy centered around Tamako, but we're concerned here with Midori, the best friend who closetly romantically likes her. We must watch as she hides her feelings, be sad when learning Tamako likes a dude, and to finish killing off her own feelings / chances of ever being with Tamako, she encourages that dude to confess to Tamako. And of course, they end up together, which our lesbian Midori is left alone. I don't care if they were trying to be realistic about it. It's just awful. It hits worse than token YuriBait. This is just another case of KyoAni doing this to me again. Why is it always KyoAni? Well, for something more lighthearted, I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. So, Azusa Isekais does whatever that title just said. Then, after getting a harem, family of girls, slice of life, cute girls do cute things ensue. What's good enough to put this on this list is that there are a few standouts that really like Azusa more than the others in a familiar, like, family context. So, the series still never crosses that Yuri boundary, despite all the Yuri jokes it is willing to throw. So, it's just going to get a very normal, low-tier YuriBait for me. WataMote. AKA, no matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular. So, Tomoko is the Bochi of, like, our anime generation, only far more cringe-inducing. And if you've only seen the anime, doubt all she will ever be to you. But if you read the manga, what was a comedy gag manga about a lonely social train wreck evolves into an amazing coming-of-age story as Tomoko slowly actually makes friends, many of them growing from those bonds, like when she stops caring about getting a boyfriend because the idea of one itself was the connection and love implications from a relationship, something she found in the friends she made and so didn't need a boyfriend anymore. Probably a bit of compulsory heterosexuality there too, because Tomoko honestly seems far more interested in girls, constantly leering at them and seemingly attracted to them as well. She even has two girls who like her. One, Uchi, resident emoji girl who comes to love her despite fighting her internalized homophobia, and second being Asuka, who naturally just starts getting closer to Tomoko, developing a love she does not tell, but you can always see as she stands by her side all the time nonetheless. Despite these Yuri elements, WataMote is a slice of life comedy first, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be bridging the gap towards Yuri. This series holds a lot of weight for me, so I can only hope one day it will commit to the Yuri. Until then, it sits firmly on token YuriBait for me. It's Jahy-Sama, aka the Great Jahy will not be defeated. About Jahy, our lovable former second in command of the demon realm, turned gremlin who has to adapt to the modern world. It's a fun slice of life comedy series with two recurring characters who are quite gay towards her, honestly. Druji, who is Jahy's subordinate, unwillingly loyal and obsessively attached to her, often getting jealous of others who are close to Jahy, like the other girl who likes Jahy, Kyoko, a magic girl initially her enemy, turned ally, and really close friend. The mangaka knows what they're doing by teasing Yuri like this. They did the Oppai Yuri manga, so you know they understand what counts as Yuri and what doesn't. So every joke in Jahy is purposely put there. Yet, not gonna commit to any of the Yuri makes it, at most, low tier Yuri bait. Next is I love Yuri and I got body swap with a Fujoshi. How envious. It's a gender bent series where a male Yuri fan becomes a girl. And there are other girls who are attracted to him in that body. It's a recipe for Yuri for sure. Many other gender bends go down that Yuri route already. Well, it could have also done that, but he rejects all advances from girls because his gender identity is firmly that of a guy. So in his view, even with the body of a girl, he's not a girl. So he could not be Yuri, and rejects all girls in preserving their innocent, pure Yuri feelings from being stained by him, a fake. That kind of makes him a real one, honestly. A real Yuri fan. He understands the assignment. I can salute such a person. But it also means, for the entire 4 volumes, I am teased about an impossible Yuri at every corner. This makes it, for me, peak YuriBait. Well, I'm already doing gender bends, so Onimai, I'm now your sister. A mid-20s neat Mahiro gets transformed into a girl by his sister, and slowly begins to accept being seen as a girl, treated as a girl, just existing as a girl. So it doesn't really have the problem of the previous gender bent series did. Anyways, cute girls do cute things ensue. A girl, Momiji, has an obvious crush on Mahiro, one that Mahiro seems to low-key have as well. If you see some Delusions as well, I can work with this. And plenty of the Yuri fan service throughout. Maybe someday a full Yuri relation will come out of this, but that ain't anytime soon. So for now, low tier YuriBait. Machikado Mazoku, aka the demon girl next door. Momo and Shabiko are initially enemies that turn into friends whose entire lives revolve around each other. Rather than physically super gay acts though, it's like another series I've talked about. The Yuri between Momo and Shabiko are through their mutual feelings of care and pursuit of each other's happiness. They are just stubborn to ever admit it to one another. So, it's just low tier YuriBait. That's Non Biyori. More slice of life comedy, cute girls do cute things. It's a staple at this point. We got so many of them. This one is Hotaru, who has a Yuri crush on her senpai Komori, being defensive of her, wanting to get close to her, and even making plushies of her. And that doesn't go anywhere else. So it's just gonna be token YuriBait, and that's what all of these are. And honestly, Survival Game Club, no different really, honestly. Momoko is our complete egotistical rude a-hole, and Ura is entirely down for that, utterly head over heels for her, taking every opportunity to express her desires and love for Momoka, to an annoying and constant rejection of Momoka. I love this show. I find it an absolute blast in the crowd of slice of life cute girls do cute things archetype. It is really funny to me, but it does not get any more gay than being token YuriBait. Are You Lost? Which is the name of this one. This one is just a slice of life comedy, cute girls do cute things, again. But no, actually, they do really gross things. This is on the list at all because, well, they do some gay things. It's just for the sake of survival, and the joke isn't actually on the Yuri, but the absurdity of their survival needs. Their questionable exchanges of bodily food also make it very fetishy if, I don't know, you can see that as Yuri. But some can, so I'm just gonna throw this in low tier. And then we have Endro, a fun slice of life comedy. Cute girls do cute things. How many times am I gonna have to describe an anime like that on this list? I don't know, but it's on this list at all because the princess likes Yusha. That's the whole joke and gimmick. Goes nowhere, therefore its inclusion is the same treatment as all the others. Token YuriBait. Moving on, it's Nyaruko. Finally, something a bit different. Okay, so let me draw this one out a bit. So we have got 4 characters. Trash male protagonist, Nyaruko, Kuko, and the Shota. Nyaruko likes trash protag. Shota likes trash protag, which is gay, and while I respect the YuriBait representation, we're not here for that. Next, Kuko likes Nyaruko, which is the gay we like to see. So obviously, the trash protagonist is able to win her over as well, causing her to like him too. Don't we just love it when our little lesbians get fixed? And Nyaruko never returns our feeling, so we just can't stop winning. That's why this is gonna go right into peak YuriBait, where you belong. Oh, well, the next few are going to be a bit weird, so this is the One Within The Villainess. Hear me out, okay? I know this is gonna be a strange one to even include on this list, but there exists a villainess of an Otome game, Remilia, ignored by her parents, lonely without friends, and never knew what it's like to be loved. Then, when sick one day, she fell unconscious, and her body was taken over by Emi, a reincarnator. She was initially upset, but was moved by Emi's empathy and pure heart, as one of her first thoughts was questioning what happened to Remilia, because she loves her. For Remilia, who she loves, Emi worked hard to give her the best life possible. For 11 years straight, Emi worked tirelessly to fill Remilia's life with happiness, and it thoroughly touches Remilia, enough that her feelings grew to be the same love that Emi holds. So, when Emi's spirit broke and went into hiding, Remilia takes back her body to protect the happiness Emi fought so hard for, their happiness. To create a world where Emi can feel safe and joy to return back to. Every action Remilia takes from then on, she does because of her love for Emi. I've read enough Yuri Otome villainous stories to know that Emi is immensely gay for Remilia, and Remilia also develops feelings for Emi, so it's mutual. There's just no heterosexual explanation for this. And I know what some manga readers are going to go and say. Remilia only thinks Emi as a sister. It's not romantic. Yeah, I call baloney. Remilia thought that when she was a kid. 11 years has passed since she thought like that, and her feelings can only grow stronger year by year, becoming obsession on the same level as Homura. And when has being siblings ever stopped anime/manga from making it romance? Which, I remind you, they're not actually siblings. In so many other stories, a protagonist will, like say, make friends that they will treat as brothers and sisters early on in their life. And surprise, 10 years later, they don't think the same way anymore, as their feelings evolved into romantic love over time rather than a platonic one. It's a popular trope done to death, and it is no different with Remilia towards Emi. Remilia and Emi are so fundamentally gay for each other that it becomes painful when you realize that they'll never be able to actualize that Yuri, since they will share the same body, made worse by the fact that Remilia gets together with the male lead Demon Lord because she believes he will be good towards Emi. So Remilia is gonna go down the het romance route, even though she doesn't even care or love the Demon Lord herself, because all she does love, all she will ever love, is Emi. As such, this is gonna be some painfully doomed Yuri. A peak YuriBait if I've ever seen one. Speaking of Tomes and villainesses and stuff, we have Survival Heroine, aka the Otome heroine fights for survival. I haven't kept up to date with the novels for like over a year now, but from what I remember, the relationship between Arya and the princess can only be described as more than friends, each other's trusted comrade, as the same kind of person. In the whole world, a connection only they feel between them. And wherever the hell toxic yandere deathmatch Clara and Arya have going on, nothing really comes out of these undertones, as the story is far more interested in being a grimdark battle shonen. So unless they really try harder with the Yuri, this is some low tier Yuri bait. Breaking the mode a bit, we have Higurashi. Because, well, after Go, whatever the heck that happened with Rika and Satoko have going on, I can get behind it. Satoko is crazy yandere obsessed with Rika, which good enough in my book, honestly. That said, the creator has explicitly stated it's not romantic love or Yuri. It's a relationship beyond those labels. Like, okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but we got words for that. It's called yandere obsession. Plus, I consider the counterparts and Yumi Neko. It basically, for me, feels safe to just say it's like some low tier Yuri bait. We got a bit of an older classic one here, a certain scientific railgun. There is not much to say about this one. Kuroko likes Misaki to a obsessive, crazy extent, constantly harassing her about it and being a nuisance in her advances, no matter how many times Misaki rejects her. Plus, Misaki likes the male protagonist from the main series, so Kuroko's love is entirely screwed. Just as their joy will never be filled, a blatant case of token Yuri bait. After that, we have Hikikomori Vampire, aka the vexation of the shut-in vampire princess. Look, I know Kayomori basically has a harem of her maid and different princesses and leader vampire, but she's like totally not interested in them and ignores the fact that the wiki labels it as Yuri and the fact that Yin Press sells it as a Yuri novel, because our arbiter of truth, my anime list, clearly knows better and it does not label it as Yuri on that front. So I'm just gonna put this on low tier Yuri bait. Okay, so I'm not going to rant as long as last time. This is Beware the Villainess. So Yuri is the heroine of Otome. Really had to name her Yuri, did you? And she ends up liking the villainess, our protagonist, Melissa, because she saves Yuri time and again, freeing her from the fate of dealing with the male love interests. So naturally, Melissa ends up with the basic doormat 9, while Yuri never gets to express her feelings and quietly just accepts her love ending. And worse, Yuri isn't even given the autonomy to confront her entire looping plotline, since it was kind of just forgotten and left unsolved. The disrespect for how dirty they did our girl Yuri is just unforgivable in my view. So I'm just gonna, as out of spite, I'm just putting it in peak Yuri bait. Alright, last villainess. Bakurina, aka my next life as a villainess. All roads lead to doom. Katarina, our bisexual harem icon with the 3 girls she's trying to be with, though only really 2 try, and Maria is the only healthy correct pick, if I'm gonna be honest, of the existing romance options. But after season 1, the original webtoon ending that is, the series leans more towards the dudes, particularly with Prince Gerald, who I find extremely creepy and toxic. Even the extra visual novel game they had only male roots, and while the light novel still seems to at least keep Maria around since she's the heroine, I don't think it's optimistic she is ever gonna actually get the Yuri that she wants. Everyone else of the cast just sucks in comparison. She is the best, unarguably. I should probably just throw it in like, you know, Yuri token bait Yuri, but like I think it actually deserves just being freaking peak Yuri bait because of how long they string it along and wasting its potential. Hey, we get another magical girl one. Maho Tutsuki Precure, aka Witchy Precure. Girls of different origins, one from the magical world and the other from the mundane world, become inseparable, stronger together, and even basically have a daughter together. That new season, during their transformation, even have them doing some questionable activities during it. But it's a yearly magical show for kids, ain't no way it's ever committing to the Yuri. Therefore, it's just gonna be a low tier YuriBait. Continuing with Magical Girls, we have Tomoyo. Everything about her feelings towards Sakura, the love she holds is one few can match. She's so selflessly purposed to only value Sakura's happiness, even if when Sakura's romantic pursuits are never towards her. It was expected that Yuri would not come out of an anime show for kids again, but it doesn't make it any less that she is token YuriBait. Arco Trip. So this is like what it would look like if we took Gushing Over Magic Girls and removed all of the questionable content, but kept the Magical Girl obsession plus the joining the bad side part of said Magical Girl. And in order to ultimately help them become stronger, she fights her because you love them. That is a far more lighthearted character and story version of that. But adoration and obsession is as far as it goes. It is one-sided, so it is also token YuriBait. Still a Magical Girl series in my view. Little Witch Academia is something I have a lot of bias towards as a Daioh fan, but the series does play up some Yuri moments with the whole Sushi world and the time that the love bee happened with Diana. But the series wasn't gonna go down any romance path. They even tried with Andrew, but ultimately was prevented, thankfully. Won't stop me from seeing all those Diana and Aqua moments as something more, but in the grand scheme of things, it is nothing more than low tier YuriBait. Okay, so that's recently My Sister is Unusual. In my defense, I was young when I first saw this. The questionable scenes between Mitsuki and Hiyori I saw on YouTube. Even with all the censors, I just had to know more and proceeded to watch it. And the premise of a ghost girl, Hiyori, using the body of Mitsuki to convey her straight feelings towards her brother was probably one of the earliest instances of feeling baited I ever had. Therefore, I'm putting it at peak YuriBait because of childhood stuff. And it's Squid Girl, more slice of life. One of the early slice of life comedy series that I watched when I first got into anime, in fact. And I loved it. Especially Sane, who has an obsessive love towards Squid Girl, constantly fantasizing mutual affection between them, sneaking pictures of her, and just overall stalking her. Such a fun character, honestly. Nah, I'm joking. But anyways, Squid Girl constantly rejects her at like every turn and is utterly uncomfortable and displeased with Sane's advancements. It's there entirely for jokes. It is the classic weird lesbian side character. It is a token YuriBait. New game. Okay, so this one's an interesting case for seeing Yuri moments with seemingly a bunch of lesbian office women, especially in the case of Kyo and Rin. But throughout the whole series, it doesn't commit to any Yuri. That is, unless we go to the manga and see at the very last chapter, given in a small fun fact section about the character afterwards, we learn that Kyo and Rin get married later. So the series basically kind of gets slightly recontextualized. Like, does the series magically becomes more Yuri than it was before just because we have this knowledge? Is it not YuriBait because it has one line of text that confirms a Yuri marriage? That's for you to have to do some introspection on. I will just be putting it on low tier YuriBait regardless. Alright, almost done. The Aquatope on white sand. Look, aquariums are to Yuri like what flannels are to lesbians. It's a stereotype, but you know exactly what it's meant to symbolize and the message it's conveying. And that message is ultra gay. Take in the wonderful view, like giving a hug while declaring you don't hate girls, putting each other's hands on your cheek for understanding, declaring they'll never be alone because you'll always be there, even sleeping together while holding hands. There's literally only one logical step to go from here. Okay, jokes aside, from early on in the show, it establishes that the whole I see you as a sister plot. Not that it has stopped Yuri in my book, but despite the questionable actions I've listed, the series does not really play up the Yuri nor deny it much. it's one of the few times where I think it actually kind of left to interpretation again. So I'm gonna just be safe and put it in a low tier YuriBait. The third from the last is a tropical fish yearns for snow. Like I said, aquarium imagery can only mean one thing. It's gay, right? Well, this one has got a lot of people's emotions stirred up in the Yuri community. The relationship between Honami and Amano in the early chapters lean into the Yuri. Not prominently, but it is there. With how slowly their relationship moved, many thought it would be a slow burn Yuri. However, as the series continued, the major themes of loneliness and companionship took center stage, and by its end, I find it impossible to not think they loved each other. For many, this feels like peak YuriBait, and I partially, I can see why they would think so, but I would like to think it is just low tier YuriBait. Flip Flappers, our second to last, and an absolute crazy show. If you haven't seen or watched it yourself, you just should. It has some famous well-known gay episodes like the Class S episode us Yuri fans love to call the Yuri Hell episode, and the episode with the different papikas causing Kokona to be confronted about her feelings towards her. And everything that happened during the ending, confusing as it was, you'll be hard-pressed to not think that they loved one another by the end. That it is anything less than Yuri. So naturally, some people still found it YuriBait. After all, if they're not like, I don't know, banging or something, is it truly gay? It's just not enough for some people, because it's never enough. Subtext isn't Yuri, undertones isn't Yuri, confessions isn't Yuri, kissing isn't Yuri. What do you even think Yuri is anymore? Do you know why I have yet to put anything in the Hibiki euphonium tier? Because nothing else is truly ever YuriBait like that. If you can't look at the list I've made and see how in every part of these, the series has Yuri, it is true even if unfulfilled, even if one-sided, even if denied, it doesn't stop being Yuri. What door do you need? Yeah, so it's just not enough. That's why it's YuriBait. It's gonna be a low tier one at that. Right there. Alright, let's finish this off strong. With Akebe Seller Uniform. The last one. So, it is... Wait, what? They do what in the manga? Well, I guess, congratulations Akebe. You're no longer eligible for this tier list. I will have to save discussing you for the next video. Otherwise, with that, my tier list is complete. If you enjoyed, hope you'll be willing to subscribe and stay up to date with my Yuri recommendations, explorations, and rants. And remember, this video was made and uploaded for April 1st. Don't take this tier list seriously, and especially don't take me calling these YuriBaits seriously. I don't even like the term. I thought the idea of this video at all because I find myself the complete opposite of someone who could possibly find YuriBait in everything. Since I have my Yuri goggles so firmly on all the time, I look for Yuri in everything I read, grasping at straws at any hint I get, and accept most things as Yuri that a normal fan would never do. Because I love Yuri. I want to believe in any signs of it no matter how many times I am wrong and burned for it. I will always hold out hope first, even if disappointment inevitably waits second. Oh, and just some ending thoughts. Another thing to note, if you notice, most of the series in the token YuriBaits are just series that have characters who are basically lesbian side characters who are gay for another one, but nothing comes out of it, so it's always just played as a joke. Because being a gay is just so funny, right? We gotta laugh at them for trying. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. The series that have lesbian side characters but treat them sincerely and create, at the same time, create a double-edged sword that feels basically properly done yet painfully real, because they always leave them alone and sad. Like, you'll see a recurring theme with my ratings for the Otome Villainess series all going into peak YuriBait, because unlike the Yuri token YuriBaits, the lesbian characters in these stories aren't just one-off gag archetypes in the way Slice of Life do it. These characters are fully realized people with their own backgrounds and motivations who develop those feelings towards the villainess organically from the actions and care given. their love is treated sincerely, and as a natural culmination of that story and feelings, valued for it. So it just hurts all the more when inevitably the Yuri doesn't work out. That's all I really have to say. Nothing special to say about the very top tier, and the very bottom one is just most of the stuff is just there while grasping at straws. So with all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and here's a Yuri meme as always. Even though this entire video itself is basically an entire meme. And enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.